Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Thanks very much for the opportunity to come and talk to you about our MSc program. So I'll try and keep it as concise as possible. And hopefully if there are any questions that anybody does have, put them in the chat box and we can hopefully try and get to them afterwards. So the MSc Elite Sport Performance is a program that we've been running now. Last year was our first year, and it's sort of coming down from our professional doctorate that we also run Elite Sport Performance. So I'm the program chair for the course, and I'm just going to run you through sort of the nuts and bolts and hopefully give you an idea of what it is that we offer and who it might be suitable for. Okay, so program of study focuses on sort of practice of sport performance and allows our students to develop an understanding of a little bit around research methodologies so that they can go and undertake their own research within their domain, within their sporting performance environment, and also sort of reflective and critical skills so that they can start to use the theory that they're developing from the program to sort of start to influence their practice and potentially others' practice. Now, when we say sports performance is important, that we sort of, or elite sports performance, that we give you a little bit of a definition because it's a bit broader than it might seem on paper. So ultimately, it's anybody that's working in a sporting environment that wants to, perform to their highest level. So we have students that are PE teachers, we have students that are coaches at universities, we have all the way up to students who are international coaches, and everything in between. Students that are part-time coaching and have another career, students that are full-time in an environment where they're employed to be a performance coach or a performance analyst or whatever it might be. We have students that are sort of directors of performance, students that are directors of sport at private schools, students that are involved in sort of talent development ideas. So it's not just about coaching and it's not just about sort of elite level practice. It's a whole continuum of anyone that has an interest in sort of supporting their practice through additional study and criticality. So because of that element and because we encourage our students to be in practice when considering applying for this, we only offer a part-time program. So it's only a 2-year part-time program to allow for the flexibility and challenges that practitioners face in terms of trying to find time within their workload to study and to do some continuous professional development. And with that as well, we run it entirely online. So lots of Zoom calls, meetings online with supervisors. We do have sort of biannual student conferences. So we held one at DCU in January this year, and we're going to hold another one in May this year, where students can come onto campus and we have a whole day where they do some presentations around their research, they meet each other, they collaborate, and they sort of build those connections a little bit more formally from the online network. But they're not compulsory because we have students that are in the Netherlands, students that are in Germany, students in America. We have a whole host of students in the UK as well. So therefore, it gives us that flexibility for our students to sort of log in from anywhere in the world, but also fit it a little bit more practically around their working life. So with that said, it's aimed at early career professionals. So people that are just starting out, maybe have just finished an undergrad and have gone into an environment, maybe into a school or maybe into a coaching environment, or are doing part-time coaching alongside their studies and are looking for that next step. This is an opportunity for those people to continue their development in the sports profession and sort of become more critical. So ideally, what you need to have if you're going to come onto the program is be in a practice environment. So have something that you can reflect against, have something that you can work with and that can become part of the program so that we can create a synergy between what you're learning on the program, the sessions you're involved in, the conversations you're having, the people you're listening to, the things you're reading, and also your practice world. So when you go out and deliver, whether that's coaching, whether that's teaching, whether that's sort of more organizational structure level, you've got an opportunity to apply what you're learning and then also bring that into the learning environment. So our aim is to support you to become more critical of the world that you're in and begin to implement what we would call is more research-informed practice. So practice that considers the research and takes the best opportunities for you to apply that. And that's really important for us because it's not a case of just copying the research and applying it. We need to use the fact that you're practitioners, that you're working in that world and that you have a skill set to bring. So this idea of research-informed practice is really important for us. It brings together the best of the evidence that we have from the research, so that orange circle, then your experience, your knowledge, your expertise, the blue circle, and then also what we know about the context that you work within, so the systems that are in place, the groups of people, the populations, the roles that sit within those areas, so that you can take those three areas, and then in the middle, we can identify practice that's best suited to the context and takes into consideration your professional judgment instead of just copying and pasting from the research. So it's an opportunity for you to be critical consumers of information and use your experiences and the knowledge of the context you're in to create sort of best practice. Okay, so the part-time and flexible nature of the course enables you to consider that impact on professional practice, supports your development within your context. Therefore, it's fundamental that you have a context to work within. Okay, so brief program outline. We're looking at a September start, regularly every year sort of thing. So we've got a number of modules, and you'll see by the names of the modules, these aren't modules that give you particular content about a subject area like performance analysis or strength and conditioning or psychology. But actually what it does is help you start to develop a set of skills so that you can manage whatever information you want to manage from your environment. So for example, learning for sports practitioners, which is a year-long module in year one, allows you to dig into the way that you learn, but also consider how other people learn and dig into like learning theory and sort of reflective practice, that actually you start to understand the people outside of your environment and how you can sort of connect with those people based on the way that they might want to learn in terms of how they learn or how they perceive learning, but not learning styles per se. And then you've got other modules like expertise and decision making, where you will get the opportunity to understand different ways or different viewpoints around how people make decisions in environments, and therefore how we come to understand that so that we can build that detail to know how we develop that. So if you're a coach and you want to develop decision making in a team sport, therefore understanding the different theories that underpin decision making allows you to think about how you design best practice, okay, and so forth. So there's a number of modules there that challenge you to think about critically about the environment you're in and the skills you try to develop in people, but are broad enough so that you can bring in your own areas of interest. So if you've got an S&C background, or you've got a talent development background, or an athletic therapy background, or a coaching background, we help you to make that element bespoke by bringing in research that you're interested in. And you do that through one-to-one supervision process. So every student gets a one-to-one supervisor, as well as the sort of broader element. Okay. So assessment format, they're all continuous assessments. So we don't examine, everything's about sort of writing and exploring and presenting and critiquing. So the types of assessments tend to be based around sort of presentations, written reports, essays, so forth, for designing particular activities and presenting those activities to people. We also use an online platform called Flipgrid, where you have a collaborative conversation with your peers to develop critical knowledge and understanding. Okay, so we have a couple of pass or fail modules at the start. So it's not so much about the grade, it's about the learning experience. And then as you get into the more course, there's a few more that are sort of percentages in terms of giving you an outcome. So the way we deliver the course, it's a combination of a couple of things. We've got synchronous delivery, so there'll be teaching activity across every module. These include presentations from the staff team, or discussions hosted by the staff team, or workshops delivered by the staff team that create that sort of collaboration between students and obviously with staff as well. We also have access to a number of guest speakers from around the world in terms of expertise in areas like sports psychology, decision making, coaching, learning principles, sort of critical thinking skills, and we try and bring all those in to give you those different dynamics and to engage you with world leading experts that are not only researchers, but they're also practitioners by background as well. So they're sitting in similar positions to you, and that gives us that authenticity. At the moment, so for example, this year, the synchronous online content is on Zoom and is delivered at the moment Mondays and Fridays, 4 till 6 p.m. Not every Monday, not every Friday. Sometimes you'll have 2 sessions in a week, sometimes you'll have 1. And the idea again there is that fits the cohort in terms of the flexibility they need. All of these sessions are recorded, so if students can't make that particular session, and they've got a pre-recording that they can go back to and watch back, and then they can catch up with the tutor, or we'll put them in contact with a guest speaker if they want to follow up with anything. We also have some asynchronous delivery where you'll be set direct tasks offline, so you'll be asked to go away and work on things independently, and therefore then go and have student supervision conversations with your supervisors. We also pair you up with like-minded students that might be in the same environment or interested in the same topic to give you that opportunity. And then there's the independent study aspect. So clearly at postgraduate level, we expect you to engage in independent study, looking at areas that are of interest to you and taking the reading that we give you, taking it further by looking at other sources of information and digging into your domain a little bit more clearly. So course requirements, you need to hold a positional role around sport performance or related area. And that's in that domain. You need to potentially have professional qualifications in your domain. So you might have a teaching degree, or you might have coaching qualifications, a 2-2 degree as a minimum in a sports performance area. However, if you don't have those and you have, for example, lots of experience in coaching or in sports and you've been working as a practitioner for 10 years, we have the opportunity to recognise prior learning. So if you're interested in the course but you're not sure your qualifications meet up with those first 4, then get in touch with myself and we can look at identifying what prior learning you have and seeing if we can recognise that for the qualification. Finally, fees, 4.5 per annum EU status, non-EU fee part-time 8. Okay, if you're from the UK, you're still paying the EU status fee. And that's just given a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions.